Hola, ¿cómo estás? Which means, hi, how are you? Mi nombre es Nicole Gibb. Foster care and future orientation in America. I gotta move around, it doesn't make me nervous. There happens to be a whole lot of American history that nobody talks about in commencement speeches. One part includes boredom, routine, and petty frustration. David Foster Wallace. How many kids make it and have successful lives after foster care? Most generic question ever. Only one out of every 2 foster kids will age out of the system, will have some form of gainful employment by the age of 24. This is less than 3% chance of children who have aged out of foster care to earn a college degree at any point in their life. And this is from a quick Google search, and I had to use that because I'm here in college now after 10 years. This is from my personal life. It's kind of hard to talk about. I've never talked about it in person. I start by mentioning the earliest memory of how I met my foster brother, Wade Timothy Ironhawk, who is now deceased. The first time I ever saw him was at the Element, the fire event at Bismarck Civic Center. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of that. I was there with my second mom, and he was there with his foster parents at the time and his younger foster brother. This was a long time ago, later 2008, 2009. As I get to the point, we were siblings since then. We would check up on each other. The family he was living with were not feeding him enough and would send him to his room, and they would eat without him. He could hear them eat, laugh, and talk, and I told my second mom, and somehow something was done, and he was moved to a new home. I visited and saw his new living arrangements, his new foster parents. I'm choosing their first names, not their last names. Vince and Linda. Vince, the foster father, is also deceased, who had humor and fed you in feeling separate. This story is from my beginning experience with foster care while living in PATH homes instead of Burley homes. Burley County foster homes are different. I will forever be for foster care in the orientation of America because of my understanding, and the research statistics are misled and very outdated, even if there is research back in 2017 and 19. That's before the pandemic, so it's a whole different thing now. Which is 2 years ago, and now with this pandemic, I just said that, sorry, where there are others that we or our foster youth and now adults. Growing up not seeing foster care shown in the view of youth instead of just highlighting the foster parents and experiences that happens. Foster parents get more credit than foster youth, and I say credit because that's literally what it is. After living in the system from 13 until 20, which is 5 years, the reason for being put into foster care was I told Walker Middle School about my mom's drunk and abusive boyfriend in hopes of getting him out of our place. A court order was issued, and I, at 13, refused to leave the trailer. So I was handcuffed and taken to my new foster home in Mandan, North Dakota. When I was 20, I was told to move out for not coming home one time, probably wasn't one time, before my second dad locked the doors. Less than 70% of cases of malnutrition found have a response time that is less than 28 hours, about 2 days for intervention. So when he told me, that was probably within that 24 hours. Problem: it is a sheltered lifestyle. After aging out of the system, it's hard to decide where you will land after 10 transitions and adjusting to new beginnings. I know it is hard only to have an loud number of belongings for a certain period and can be moved again. And I bring that up because a lot of foster youth, they say they have one picture, or a garbage bag full of clothes. I never had no garbage bag full of clothes. I never had a family picture to be sent off with. No matter where you live, you feel like it's 2 against 1. You know, 2 parents, and you are alone as a youth in a place you have never been but told to live there now. It is hard to socialize with others who do not look or talk like me or are the same age and authority figures of any kind. That's the backlash of being in foster care. So authority figures, it's very hard because the pressure of living there and handling social workers, case workers, on-call workers, on-call social workers. Solution, what is the solution? And this is important because Casey Family Programs, I have actually gone to Fargo with my mom and met with people that are from that program. I put the 6, it's kind of obvious to know, but it does matter because it is in the foundation of foster care. According to Casey Family Organizations, there are 6 strategies to improve placement, stability, and foster care. Placing the child with relatives or family member when possible, that was not an option for me. Wasn't going to be an option, so that's one of them. Placements matching to make optimal first placements for children. I left that like that because optimal isn't a word that I would use, but that's how they categorized it. There isn't going to be an optimal placement for the first time. There isn't. Improving services to children while in care. Programs that support foster caregivers to better address children's needs. Caseworker retention, I bring that up because in a previous speech, it was talking about days off and time off for teachers. What about social workers? When I was in foster care, I could care less. Now, I still have one of my social workers on my Facebook, and it's nice to be able to see her retention because I wasn't the easiest kid, and I had 2 social workers, so staff training is a big one. The children protection world is complex. There are no formulas that guarantee good outcomes. I had another quote. My deceased family member, David M. Gipp, since he became president of the college in 1977, I was born in 92, so that's a long time after he became the president. Gipp said BIA funding cuts have been threatened 4 times, with Congress restoring funds 3 times. Bismarck Tribune, April 12, 2002. I like that because if the odds are stacked against me and I've done well with something 3 times, I'm going to go 6 times. And I brought him up because that's not just the college, this is actually for anything, and it's nice to have a family member that stated that well. I find this particular information important because the right kind of education, faith, and support somehow the universe provides, and it all falls into place. I relate this to my topic because with the odds against you, I like quoting myself over and over, sorry. There can be one more stretch of hope and legal miracles happen. And legal miracles is the right term because in the foster care system, it's legal. There's nothing that anyone could do. Once you're in the system, you're in the system. That's sad to say that, but my stance for supporting foster care remains the same. Even if the system cannot change or funding allows certain access for foster parents and youth. I can say I made it through the foster care system. I have only an alumni number on my resume of life. Without an enrollment number, I'm blessed to not have an inmate number or even worse, be dead. All I can do to encourage past, present, and future foster youth or adults is that reunification can be slim, to no chance of knowing your biological family, but some cases vary. Some are not fortunate enough to have 2 living parents, let alone more than one set to call parents. You have a blended family even if you are not blood related or the same race. Lastly, I am not the statistics set for the label of foster care, and we need to look past that and have respect for the aged out adults that surpass the number with a percentage sign. This is the visualization. This is important because a lot of the things that I said when I found it in this research, it made me realize that I could be the same woman writing the article. What is the solution for foster care? Strengthening families of origin. We, the foster care system, used to say, well, they don't have any family, so we'll keep them in foster care until they're 18. Teach them how to become independent adults, she continues. But children learn in families, not independent classes. I've been in independent classes, I've been in several families. So independent classes and learning with foster parents is beneficial. Educate the public. One way to help stem negative media is to consult with those who interface with media, such as public officials, politicians, about what is and is not acceptable to say about a particular case, especially when the case remains under investigation. I bring that up, I pause for a minute, because that's happened a lot in our community lately, especially from Standing Rock. We need to start with educating them and getting the rules down about what is appropriate and inappropriate to discuss, she says. That's me. I don't need somebody else beside me. I'm going to say what I need to say, and if I'm incriminated for it, I'm incriminated for it. I stand for foster care, but funding is not the only issue. We need to invent updated education for foster care and improvements for reconnecting with bio families, lifestyles, and traditions. Before I finish, I brought my foster mom that I lived with for 5 years. Thank you for hearing my stance on foster care.